Good morning, or good day. My name is Steve Nason. I'm a building inspector here in Rosslyn, New Brunswick. Often as building inspectors, sometimes we have to review standards and look at review codes. And as I refer to that, it's more like going down the rabbit hole because you never know where it's going to lead to you. So you generally have to chase that lead. One of these items is the use of cap staples and house wraps, and whether to require the use of a staple on a house wrap. So that's where we are going down with this rabbit hole. So what I've done is done a bit of a brief overview. As you can see here, okay, we've got two things. We've got a non-air barrier in a home or an air barrier, depending on how the designer has laid that out. Okay, but within the building code, there is often a desire that you may need a second plane of protection. And now that, as you can see my cursor here, based on the degree days, okay, in the St. John and Ross area, we need a second plane of protection. And that allows the water to get behind the cladding and drain down through. So within the second plane of protection, it also requires a drainage plane, okay? So, and then that's described as 9.27.3.1 in 210 National Building Code. And that drainage plane is a sheathing membrane, okay? So they call it a sheathing membrane, okay? Now the odd part about this is that it says it doesn't have to be waterproof. To me, that's kind of a bit of an oddity, but anyway. So that sheathing membrane, as you can see here, is referred to as, in a standard, a CGSB standard 51.32M77. Now that's been retired. That standard is no longer applicable, but we still use it because it was a standard when codes were developed. And within that standard, it talks about an ASTM test E96, and that's a method for measuring vapor permeance in materials in sheet form. Okay, so, but however, you'll see note here that most of the sheathing manufacturers use a CCCM evaluation report. Okay, so that covers the non-air barrier. Okay, so now if you've got an air barrier, okay, and if your designer has laid it out as an air barrier, okay, you will find that there is a CAN ULC standard for air barrier material specifications, okay? But most suppliers refer back to the CCMC report, which is an evaluation report. So then if we go down to the next phase here, we'll go and look over here. You'll see that CCM is not a standard, okay? You can't find that in the building code, so that's just not a standard. And if you look at a CCMC report, the letter R on the end of the report number, I'll show you in a minute here, stands for a report for an alternate solution, okay? And then we'll also show you here that there's a ruling out of the Minister of Housing in Ontario that treats that as an alternate solution, okay? Okay, so if we've treated the material as an alternate solution, what the CCMC says is that there's a couple conditions that they put on there and limitations. Okay, so it's going to be installed accordingly to Article 927.3.3. Okay, required sheathing membrane installation of Division B 215 code and the manufacturer's current instruction. Now, this is something we want to pay attention to, is the manufacturer's current instructions. Okay, most sheathing manufacturers on their installation guides require cap fasteners, or because that's the best building practice, staples with a 1-inch crown or large headed nails. So now I'm just going to take you over here for a minute and see if I can open up my thumbnails right here. There we go. Okay, so if you look at here, you'll go into, I'll take you over to a home wrap CCMC evaluation. Okay, so you can see that right there. That evaluation number here has that R underneath it. And if we keep scroll down, okay, we'll scroll down and you'll see right in here, limits and limitations, okay, right there. If you look at this, install accordance to Article 927.3.3, required sheathing membrane install. So that's it right in the nutshell. Okay, so then if we go back into the bookmarks, hang on here, see if we can figure it out back in my bookmarks. Okay, so we're going to close that out. And then we'll go back into the installation instruction because we're in the sheathing area now, right? So if you go back down there and you scroll down through the manufacturer's instructions, okay, they talk about, we'll just, okay. And they talk about, see, they talk also about the second plane of protection and all that here. So I'm going to step 1, 2, 3, probably go right down here. You can see these lovely cap fasteners right there, taping, gable ends terminations. Okay. I thought it would say here, penetrations, okay. They talk about all the penetrations, tears, and handling. Okay, so where we're at with this is that it will, I'm going back up here, so just watch your eyeballs. Hang on. Okay, so if you see, like these are you've got furring strips here for your second plane of protection. Okay, that gets that furred out against well. And they've used cap fasteners here, cap fasteners there. And I would assume that if you look down here, there would be a spacing of those cap fasteners. Recommended tape, windows, rolls, nails. Okay, so secure tie to the stud, no closer than 6 inches, no farther than 18 inches on vertical and horizontal. Okay, and with wide staples. So this one here, the Tyvek on this one refers you to, you can use a staple. Okay, so let's just see if we can go back over here for a minute. And okay, we'll close that out. And we'll go up to, okay, I'm going to another one, Typar. Okay, Typar installation guide. Just another manufacturer's material, and we just scroll down here, see if we can see. Once again, look, they're showing us a plastic cap at 32 inch, both horizontally and vertically. So the Typar product clearly lays out, and I know that the Tyvek material are coming up with new instructions that will say that you've got to use these cap fasteners. Okay, so let's just close that back up. So the I have a so if you take the minister's ruling, okay, if we look at air barrier, there's the evaluation for the air barrier. Okay, so that air barrier was used for an alternate solution. Okay, because again, the CCMC report, it's not a standard. Okay, so they used that, and what they did with that is they submitted it to the Ontario Ministers of Housing. Okay, so if you look at that ruling, okay, basically clearly they treat that as home wrap air barrier material as a alternate solution. So if they're supplying you or if they're going back to a CCMC report, it is automatically a alternate solution. So I think that we've got a pretty good justification on this to require the use of cap fasteners, because the majority of home wraps and those things do home wraps and those sheet goods follow CCMC report. Now, if you look at another product that would be like a Blueskin VP100, they have all the standards in there that are applicable to what we described, and that probably wouldn't be treated as an alternate solution. So again, you have to be very careful on, you know, what they're supplying you for material, and if they've met the various standards, and if there's again going back, most of the home wrap people, if you go to Tyvek type of people, they end up giving you a CCMC report, and that CCM report, once again, is treated as an alternate solution. We've taken it for years as just it's approved, and going down the road, we never even have thought of it as an alternate solution, but that's the case. So hopefully this will help and clear up a little bit of confusion on whether to use cap fasteners or not. Thank you very much and have a great day.